Today's lesson is Move Over ChatGPT. There's a new AI kid on the block. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And it's really me, Roger, and it's really him, Mike. We're actually human beings. We're not artificial voices.
Not yet.
We're not AI, although maybe someday that will happen.
That's true.
We certainly don't want that to happen. We want to remain gainfully employed. But today we're going to talk about something similar. We're talking about a new kid on the AI block, and that is something called Sora. I think we all have heard of ChatGPT, which helps us write papers and letters and things like that. But now there's something called Sora. Do you know what Sora is, Mike?
No, I'm not familiar with Sora, but the way that they seem to come out with a whole new generation of AI every 6 months to a year, I'm not too surprised that a new one has come along that will soon eclipse and overpower all the previous ones that were already quite powerful. So I think we should get into our article and find out about this new kid on the AI block, or this new AI kid on the block, Sora. So let's check out the first part of our article. Move over, ChatGPT. There's a new AI kid on the block. Each generation contends with a technology that radically reshapes the world. Baby boomers had the space race. Generation X welcomed personal computers into their homes. Millennials grew up online. And Generation Z youngsters have never known a world without smartphones. So, what can Generation Alpha look forward to?
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 generation， 它的意思是世代、同代人，也可以是能源的产生。例如 ，The painter's style influenced a whole generation of artists。那位画家的风格影响了一整个世代的艺术家。或者 The generation of renewable energy is essential for reducing carbon emissions. 可再生能源的产生对于减少碳排放至关重要。再来看到副词 radically， 表示从根本上的、完全的，也可以是激进的或是极端的。例如 The company's strategy was radically changed to focus on digital products. 该公司的策略从根本上的转变为专注于数位产品。或是 Felix's views on politics are radically different from mine. Felix 对政治的看法完全与我不同。
Okay, let's focus now on the title here. There's a new kid on the block. We use that term to refer to something that is new. It could actually be a new kid in the neighborhood, but it could also refer to something new that's around that we got to get used to, that we need to learn about. This, of course, reminds me of the old Eagles song, There's a New Kid in Town. But in any case, we've got a new AI kid on the block, another concept involving artificial intelligence that we need to know about.
Exactly right. So let's find out all about it. It says each generation contends with a technology that radically reshapes the world. Yeah, that's probably true, especially in the modern era when scientific innovations and discoveries seem to happen faster and faster. So each generation, especially in the 20th century, 21st century, they contend with, or they have to deal with, they have to sort of handle and learn how to live with and learn how to get along with a technology that radically reshapes the world. This happens to each generation. A generation is basically from a parent to a child or a grandparent to a parent. If you have the children, if you have the parents, the grandparents, and the great-grandparents, that would be 4 generations. A generation, if we're looking at it historically, would be around 25 years or so, the amount of time that it takes a person to be born, grow up, and have their own children. And of course, generations can have gaps. They can have conflict. Young people don't understand their parents. The parents don't understand the young people. They look at the world in different ways. They want to live their lives in different ways. This kind of idea. So, yes, as the generations go by, change is the only constant, and technological change is a big part of modern life with the generations coming thick and fast. It says this technology, I should say, radically reshapes the world. So it basically changes the world in big ways, I guess.
So if something's radical, it's severe, it's noticeable, the contrast is quite high, and it reshapes the world, and we all need to adjust. I remember the time when cell phones first came out. We all used phones back then and answering machines and maybe beepers or whatever. Those seem like primitive kinds of technology to young people today, but hey, back in the day, that's what we had. And then cell phones came out and they radically changed the world. They radically reshaped the world. They made the world totally different. And if we didn't figure out how to use those cell phones, we were left behind and we were squashed like cockroaches.
That's exactly what happened. So let's look at some of these big technological changes that different generations have been dealing with. Baby boomers had the space race. Yes, the children born after World War II, that's the baby boom generation, born between the late 40s to the mid-60s. So that would be the baby boom generation. They had the space race. You could also throw in, they had television. Right? That was a big thing that changed how people entertained themselves and had more kids staying inside, not running around outside, because now they had television. And of course, yes, the space race and a lot of the things like satellites that spacecraft were able to put up into space to change lives and change the world. Generation X. So this is basically the generation between about 1965 to about 1980, something like that. They welcomed personal computers into their homes. Yeah, when I was a kid, personal computers were way too big to be in the home, but then by the time I was, a young teenager, most people had personal computers. They were suddenly much more accessible. Millennials, kids born around the year 80s and 90s and who grew up around the year 2000, they grew up online. They always had online lives. They always had an email address, things like that. They entertained themselves using computers online from a very young age. And the latest generation, Generation Z, youngsters have never known a world without smartphones. So for them, even using a normal desktop computer might be quite rare. They do everything with a smartphone or a pad or a laptop or something like that. So this is just in the short space of about 40 or 50 years is what we're talking about here. So the question is, what can Generation Alpha look forward to? What is the future and technology? What are these going to bring to the next generation? The kids who are probably just babies or being born now, they have been given the name Generation Alpha because I guess we were running out of letters, so we went back to the beginning of the alphabet. So what can they look forward to? What is history going to bring to them? When we look forward to things, it could be something good, something positive, something we're excited about. It could also maybe, especially if we're talking historically, it could be something bad. They could look forward to environmental collapse or something in the future if we don't take care of global warming. So what is the future basically going to bring for them, especially in the world of computers, especially in the world of AI?
Let's move on now to the second part and find out what indeed Generation Alpha has to look forward to.
Predicting the future is tricky, but many believe artificial intelligence, AI, will be the defining technology of this generation. AI has already found its way into many areas of our lives, and its influence is only expected to grow. OpenAI's ChatGPT is capable of doing your homework and holding unsettlingly human-like conversations. Midjourney, meanwhile, is being used to create remarkable images from text. And now, Sora has arrived with a promise to shake up the film production industry.
第二部分看到动词 predict， 它的意思是预测或是预言。例如 Julie predicted that Steve and Carol would get engaged this year. Julie 预测 Steve 和 Carol 今年会订婚。也可以说 The economist predicted a rise in interest rates. 那名经济学家预言利率会上涨。再来看到副词 unsettlingly， 表示令人不安的。我们可以说 The movie's plot was unsettlingly dark and twisted. 该电影的剧情为令人不安的黑暗且扭曲。也可以说 The artist's new work was unsettlingly realistic, evoking strong emotions. 该艺术家的新作品令人不安的写实，让人引发了强烈的情感。下一个介绍形容词 remarkable， 表示非凡的、惊人的或是引人注目的。我们可以说 Ted has a remarkable talent for music. Ted 有非凡的音乐天赋。又或者说 The speed with which Fred recovered from his injuries is remarkable. Fred 伤势复原的速度快得引人注目。接着看到片语 shake up， 它的意思是对点点点进行重大调整或是震惊点点点。例如 In response to criticism, the board has decided to shake up the company's corporate structure. 因应批评言论，董事会决定改变该公司的企业结构。又或者说 The traffic accidents shook up Ellen. 那场交通事故把 Ellen 吓坏了。
All right, well, let's get back to the article. It starts off with a pretty good basic statement. Predicting the future is tricky. Yes, absolutely. Predicting the future is tricky because we can't see into the future. And when you're predicting, you're trying to guess or say what is going to happen in the future, right? Based on what you know, your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, all of those things will come into it. But still, you're kind of taking a guess. It could be an educated guess. It could be just a wild stab in the dark. But if you're reasonably confident and you have a reasonable level of authority on the subject to come up with intelligent guesses, then you could call that a prediction, right? Weather scientists have satellites and weather maps and all sorts of wonderful radar, but still they can't tell you what it will be like tomorrow. They can make a very good prediction. So predicting the future is tricky. It's very hard to guess how the world will be in 10, 20, 50, 100 years from now, right? We don't have a time machine. We don't have magic powers or crystal balls or anything like that. But many believe artificial intelligence, AI, will be the defining technology of this generation, in the same way that computers and smartphones have been the defining technology of past generations. The airplane might have the defining technology of a generation born 100 years ago. For kids in the future, or kids born now, and the ones who will be born in the future, AI will be the defining, the main technology of their generation, the newest technology that has the most impact on the way they live their lives.
Now, AI has already found its way into many areas of our lives, and its influence is only expected to grow. So yes, indeed, we do know that AI is already out there. It's found its way into many areas of our lives, okay? So when we're on the internet, we sometimes hear voices on those YouTube videos that don't sound like they're a real person. That, of course, is AI. They're automatically produced voices, and also articles, and even sometimes videos and pictures are sometimes artificial. We know that they're not really made by a person. So it's already found their way, or this technology has found its way into our lives. So if you find your way into something, that means it manages to get into a certain place, implying that it was difficult for that thing to get there in the first place.
There you go. And its influence, we should finish that sentence, is only expected to grow, right? So people are already using AI to do things in their lives. It's found its way into many things, and from homework to research to writing papers. And its influence is only expected to grow. The way we use AI in the future will be much more extensive, much more broad. We'll be using it in many, many other areas of our lives than we're using it today. OpenAI's ChatGPT is capable of doing your homework and holding unsettlingly human-like conversations. This is kind of where we are at now with AI, right? OpenAI is one of the big companies. ChatGPT is their product that you might have actually used online, asked it some questions, or gotten it to help you with some tasks. And some of those tasks are pretty basic, but still impressive. Doing your homework, so you could basically ask the computer to write you that 500-word essay on the history of France in the 1780s or something like that, and it'll go out and do all the research and write a reasonably good paper that you might hand in to your teacher. Hopefully you check through it and you do most of the research and writing yourself and not use the computer to cheat, but it is possible. And you can also hold unsettlingly human-like conversations. Unsettlingly is an unsettlingly difficult word to say. So something that is unsettling, it kind of makes you upset. It makes you nervous. It makes you uncomfortable. It could be a weird sound when you're home alone. It could be someone following you down the street. Maybe they're just walking in the same way that you're walking, in the same direction, but if it's late at night on a foggy night, it's a little unsettling. It's a little creepy. It's making me feel uncomfortable and possibly even the beginning of feeling scared. So if something is unsettlingly in a certain way, it's in a certain way that's making you feel uncomfortable. If you're on an empty bus and someone comes and sits right next to you when they could sit anywhere else on the bus, you might say, this person is sitting unsettlingly close to me. There's no reason for them to do it, and it's making me a little bit uncomfortable. These conversations that you can have with an AI, you're talking to a computer, it's like a human in a way that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. It's unsettlingly human-like.
I should mention here, unsettlingly is an adverb, but I think it's more common in the adjective form, unsettling. This is a rather unsettling situation. You could say it's a disturbing situation. It makes you feel uncomfortable. And yes, indeed, some of these conversations are disturbingly human-like. They sound real. We might actually be talking to a machine, but it sounds like we're actually talking to a real human being. Now, Mid-Journey, meanwhile, is being used to create remarkable images from text. Okay, so that's another piece of software. It's used to create images from text. So if you give them a prompt about a picture that you want, give me a picture of Jimmy Carter eating peanuts in the middle of a cornfield. Okay, so then this particular application will give you that picture and it will be remarkable. You'll go, wow, that looks real. That's exactly what I wanted.
Very, very interesting. And now Sora has arrived with the promise to shake up the film production industry. Okay, so Mid-Journey was amazing for creating pictures, but basically non-moving pictures, still pictures, 2D pictures. But now we have Sora. Sora's arrived with a promise to shake up or to greatly change the film production industry. So in the same way that Mid-Journey can make pictures, Sora can make movies. It's going to shake up that industry. It's definitely going to affect it in a big way, all right? So if something comes along and shakes things up, it causes a lot of change in a relatively short period of time. If you have a new boss with all sorts of goals and plans and visions, they might come in and shake things up, right? We're going to do things in a completely different way to try to get better results or something like that. So the way films are produced before and the way films will be produced after using Sora, there will be a dramatic difference between those two.
Yep, it might shake up that film production industry. Of course, lots of people work in film production and video production. This indeed might affect their livelihoods. They may be unemployed very soon. Okay, we're at the end of the second part of our lesson. Here comes the third and final part.
This innovative software takes text, image, or video prompts and turns them into richly detailed video clips. Early samples released by OpenAI, the creators of Sora, show impressive results. In one clip, shoppers wander along a photorealistic Tokyo street, while another shows a monster that looks like it could have been drawn by Pixar animators.
第三部分看到 innovative 这个形容词指的是创新的、新颖的、革新的，也可以是富有革新精神的。举例来说 Using innovative methods, the team was able to improve efficiency. 使用创新的方法，让该团队得以提高效率。又或者说 We are looking for an innovative graphic designer to join our team. 我们正在寻找一位富有创新精神的平面设计师加入我们的团队。最后看到名词 prompt 表示引导电脑执行任务或操作的指令、提示，也可以是提词的意思。例如 Carla entered a prompt on her computer to start the program. Carla 在她的电脑上输入了一个指令来启动程式。也可以说 The actor forgot his lines and needed a prompt from the teleprompter. 那位演员忘记了台词，他需要读稿机的提词。
All right, back to the article. This innovative software, here again we're talking about Sora, this film production AI. This innovative software takes text, image, or video prompts and turns them into richly detailed video clips. Absolutely amazing and absolutely innovative too. If something is innovative, it's very novel, it's very new, it's very original, and it's kind of breaking new ground. It's doing things that weren't possible before. So if you're talking about an innovative technology, you're talking about something that really has no rivals. There's no other product like that out there in the market. When it first came out, the iPod was very innovative, right? You could download music by files. You could keep thousands of songs on this one little machine. Before that, you had a Discman where you actually had to carry around physical CDs. You could only listen to one at a time, things like that. So something that's innovative really is very different from all things similar to it that have come before, but it is very different from those other earlier predecessors. So this software, this very innovative or novel original software, takes text, image, or video prompts and turns them into richly detailed video clips. So a prompt basically would be kind of like an instruction or something that causes something to happen. But often when we're talking about computers, a prompt is kind of an instruction to the computer. If you're writing computer code, you're basically writing a bunch of computer prompts telling the computer to do this and then to do that and sort of writing out the order that it should do these things in. And even when you have a little blinking cursor on a screen, that's kind of a prompt. It's sort of waiting for you to write something so that the computer can then do it for you. So here you're not really making the movie yourself and then just getting the software to kind of clean it up and make it look nice. You might actually just tell the software what you want the video to show, and then it will make a video that shows exactly that. So it takes these instructions, these prompts, and turns them into richly detailed video clips. I find the thing with AI is often talking about it or reading about it, it makes it still hard to understand because it's doing things that we've never been able to do before. So even understanding what it's able to do can be a bit of a challenge sometimes.
Well, you just need to see the sample of it. So here it says, early samples released by OpenAI, the creators of Sora, show impressive results. So look for some samples online. You can probably see what we're talking about. In one clip, shoppers wander along a photorealistic Tokyo street, while another shows a monster that looks like it could have been drawn by Pixar animators. If something's photorealistic, it looks real, like a picture. And in this particular case, it's just created by a computer. But if you look at this video, you'd swear you're walking down a street in Tokyo. It's that realistic. It's that real looking. And then we've got a monster that looks realistic as well. If you've seen Pixar movies, you know they're pretty good at making movies. And somebody who makes a movie or a cartoon or anime movie is an animator. Again, they make movies using kind of cartoon images, and it can look quite impressive. And hopefully these Pixar people won't be out of a job as well. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Here comes Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分一开始写到，预测未来挺难的，但许多人认为人工智慧将成为这一代的决定性技术。文中是用动词 predict 来表达预测、预言。那我们来学习它的字首字根。首先看到 DIC 或者是 DICT 这一类字根呢，它表示说话、讲述。那么在 predict 这个字当中，它的字首 PRE 表示之前、事先或是在点点点之前。那么 DICT 表示说话，在事情发生之前就先说出来，这样应该可以联想到 predict 它有预言、预测的意思。好，我们顺便补充两个有这一类字根的单字。第一个是 dictate， 它的字根 DICT 表示说话，那么 ATE 是动词字尾，合在一起 dictate 它就有口述或者是有命令啊、规定、决定的意思。那我们如果去掉字尾 e 再加上 or 变成 dictator， 那就是指独裁者。同学们可以试着联想，只有那个人说了算，只有他说的就是命令，那就是独裁者咯。那第二个补充的是 verdict， ver 这部分表示真实， dict 表示说话，那合在一起 verdict 它可以指可能是根据事实或调查所做出的意见结论，那这个字也可以指陪审团的裁决。接着读到课文第3部分的第一句，他写道，这款创新软体接受文字、图像或影片提示，并将其转换为细节丰富的影片剪辑。文中是用 turns them into richly detailed video clips 来表达将其转换为细节丰富的影片剪辑。那么 turn 当动词，它可以表达变成、使变成、使成为，它可以当及物或不及物用。那我们以下介绍2种用法。好，第一种用法是 turn A into B 或者是 turn A to B， 表达把 A 变成 B， 像是 The witch turned the princess into a sparrow， 女巫把公主变成一只麻雀了。那第二个用法，我们可以用 A turn into B 或者是 A turn to B 来表达 A 变成 B。 举例来说，In the story, the king and queen turned into stone. 在故事中，国王与皇后变成了石头。好，那补充一下 turn to 当片语动词，后面可以接人或事物来表达寻求什么什么的帮助、支持，或者是请教某人。像是 Do you have anyone you can turn to for emotional support？ 你有任何人能让你寻求情感上的支持吗？那另外我们可能也会看到 turn to 后面接了 drugs 或者是 alcohol 等等，这往往是指可能因为不开心而开始使用了毒品、酒精来寻求慰藉。像 Mark turned to alcohol after his wife left him， 这就是说 Mark 在他妻子离开他之后，他就开始酗酒了。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Generation.Younger generations usually learn how to use new technologies with relative ease. Radically. The invention of the internet radically changed the way people communicate. Predict. Pamela has predicted that she will win her tennis match tomorrow. Remarkable. Arthur has shown remarkable improvements in his writing ability this year. Innovative. Professor Nolan's innovative approach has resulted in several important discoveries.Prompt. Diana wrote, "Tell me a story" as a prompt for the AI tool. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.